Hey guys, so I just got back from Dollar Tree and I loaded up on some garden hacks that I really like doing, and some of these can be used for multiple years. From the simplicity of just a few pennies to just a few dollars, you can really protect your garden, make it flourish, and increase your harvest over every year by doing some of these hacks. So just follow along and I'll put up each one. Some of them are time savers and some of them help your garden flourish even more than it normally would if you didn't do these hacks. So take a look at them. Also, I just recently put up a video about a garden hack involving a stackable system. I'll put a link to that one right here. But let's just follow along. I'll head out to the garden. There's a little bit of wind blowing today, so I could have some issues with my mic. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear me without too much disruption. But I'll go through each hack as we get through the garden and show you how to use each one and save a lot of money and time. Now, I guess you could say this is a two-part hack you could do to protect. If you've already put out some of your seedlings or small plants that you purchased and they're small, really small and in danger of being damaged by frost, it's a two-parter. So you can use these small bells, greenhouse bells, and they have a closable top on them where you can prevent any air from escaping. Put some fabric pins, greenhouse, I'm trying to think of the name of them, but I think they're basically made for landscape fabric, and you can just put a pin on each side and hold it in place on those really last few nights of cold weather. You can also buy just a gallon-sized bottle, the Dollar Tree, where there's soda. It doesn't have to be in this exact shape, and just put it close to the plant, allow it to heat up during the day, and then overnight this will absorb water if you're not getting extremely cold temperature. If you're just going to touch a frost temperature and then move away from it, then this may be enough. But if not, if you think you're going to get far below freezing, these small bells, I believe they call them clochets, which I guess is a French word, but anyways, I just call them greenhouse bells, and you just buy these and they are super cheap. I believe it came in a set of 3 for $1.25, I believe. I don't know, I'm going off my memory, which is sometimes faulty, but anyways, these are great for small things you've already put out in the garden and you want to protect them from that last bit of frost. Obviously, these are not going to be for the middle of winter or in extremely cold temperatures, but they will save your small seedlings and your plugs if you've already put them in the ground, and they work great. So I would recommend this 100%. Another little trick on these bells is sometimes getting this plastic is off of it. So if you take a hair dryer, heat it up, it might come off a little bit easier than trying to peel it, because then you'll be left with a residue. So just a hair dryer, not too close to it because it might warp the plastic, but doing the little hair dryer trick will get these off pretty easily. Now, I saw these on an aisle for decoration, and I would assume these maybe are for some type of outdoor decoration or maybe even indoor decoration. I'm not really sure what the purpose is, and I've looked on it, just some type of craft item, but excuse me. So what I thought about using it for is protecting your plants from birds, ground squirrels, things that can be easily frightened from sound and visual. So you can take one of these, put it on one of these little flower stands, and these are actually used to keep your flowers upright. I think I purchased these at Lowe's a while back. But in a light breeze, this is constantly moving around, and it's even hitting this metal stake, which makes just a little bit of noise, which might scare birds away. So if you have a lot of these already, like I do, you can pick these up at Dollar Tree, put them throughout the garden, and you can protect some of your new seedlings, some things that are starting to bloom, possibly berries. But as it hits that, it's going to make just a little bit of noise, even in a light breeze. There's a light breeze today, and you can see it's moving quite a bit. And when it does hit this metal stake, it makes a little bit of noise, which might scare a bird that's thinking of getting a free meal away. Now, Dollar Tree has tons of different size plastic containers, and they're super cheap. Some of them come in multi-packs like this, single packs, and a lot of them are this size right here, and it has a nice grip on the side, so you can put a lot of product in it. But what I'm going to use these for, I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to do a close-up, but these are so cheap. I have these throughout the greenhouse, and I have them sitting on shelves so I can just grab one and use it as needed, and that way I don't have to go hunt down the original packaging. And a lot of times I buy things in bulks, like this Osmocote. I'm not going to buy the individual container. I want to get a little bit of a discount, so I buy it in a little bit larger container, so I'm not paying for the plastic bottle that the smaller size comes in. So the larger of the 3 of these containers, I'm actually going to use for my Osmocote that I often put on bonsai. And so we're just going to take a drill, and this is a small drill bit. You can use different sizes depending on what product you're putting in there, but we're going to put the cap on it and make sure we don't, I'm not going to drill it all the way around because I'm going to be holding it from one side. So we want to make sure we put the cap on first so we'll know which side we need to drill. If we drill this side, we're drilling the wrong side because we want it to be able to have that shaking action. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to drill out the holes on the bottom side as of the way I'm going to be holding. I'm sorry, I know I'm repeating myself, but I just want to make sure that's clear. Sometimes I don't make myself too clear. But anyways, let's do these 3 or 4 holes on the bottom. Okay, so I put in 5 there, but as you can see, they're in just the right places. I put it on each time. I've got it tightened down so I can just shake it and remove my bonsai feeding system here through just a simple plastic container. And I don't have to buy the individual, as I said, don't have to buy the more expensive individual plastic containers. But let's just see how it works. We're going to fill this up and just do a little bit of a test run. Let's say we'll do it in a plastic pan. I have one here. And we're going to fill maybe half of our container up there. Not to breathe that dust. Okay, so we've got it. It's an easy grip right there. As you can see, I'm just going to be able to sprinkle it, shake it back and forth, and get just the right amount of fertilizer. Now I do use Osmocote for all my bonsai, and I've been doing that for over 10 years. But let's say you wanted to do diatomaceous earth. So you want a different container, something a little smaller, because I don't use these quite as much, but I'm going to do the same method. I've got a grip on one side, make sure it's already tightened down, and I'm just going to put in quite a few holes on the bottom side so I can shake this out if I have any problems with insects such as ants. Now, I've already encountered a problem here with this drill. It's overpowering to this small thing. This plastic cap is very thin and very brittle. So I've got another device that I use. I'll have to search for it, but it's actually going to work better because I don't want to destroy this top. I want to carefully put in the right amount of holes for the diatomaceous earth. So let me go look for that, and I'll show you exactly how to use it. So I hunted down my soldering pin, and I'll show you that this is actually going to be better to use than a drill because it goes through the plastic. It takes a little bit more time to put it together, but you don't have to worry about cracking the plastic as I've done with, tighten that up just a little bit, with my drill, which has just too much power. So you can use one of these soldering pins. I'll put a link down below to it. So we've got our little shaker here with diatomaceous earth in it, which is a perfectly natural ant killer that will prevent the ants from taking over your garden bed. You can use one of these containers. They're super cheap and easy to put together. I have a combination of drilled holes and the holes from the pin. I'm sorry about the wind. I'm sure that it's picking up a lot of noise. But anyways, that's a great way to make use of something that's so inexpensive, and you can just label it with some painter's tape and tell yourself exactly what it is, knowing that it's a safe and natural product for insect control. Now, getting back to protecting your small seedlings or your newly planted plugs or very small tomato plants, this next item is really great for protecting from birds and small other animals such as ground squirrels. It's just one of these really inexpensive waste baskets that you can get, and you can put some of the landscape fabric pins on each side to hold it in place. But if you're past your frost date and you want to allow it to get the maximum amount of sunlight, airflow, and just prevent it from getting overheated under one of the plastic bales, using one of these little waste baskets are great. I believe I picked up this idea from I read about it on a blog, and I'm trying to think of the name. I think it was Garden Time with Mary. But anyways, I believe that was the name of the blog that talked about the waste basket, and it's a super cheap way to do it. You can use these year after year. They're metal, they're painted, and so they'll last quite a long time. You can just store them away, and then when you need them, just protect your small seedlings and plants from any birds that might come in early or even late in the season. Now, the next thing I found at the Dollar Tree was this planter trolley. It's got some little wheels on the bottom, but what I thought it would make a great thing would be like a seed starting tray, and you could use something like this plate cover, and it's vented on the top. So if you're starting this outdoors and there's a lot of bright light, sunlight, whatever, and you want to protect it from overheating, you could just put that in there and start your seeds like that. That would allow the heat to escape and prevent any birds from coming in and attacking your newly planted seedlings. Also, you could use one of the plastic bells, greenhouse bells I talked about earlier. It has the top on it that opens and closes depending on the outside temperature and the amount of sunlight. You could start your seeds in that. Or lastly, one of these plastic, I believe these came in a 3-pack. You could do the same thing there. If you're still not past your last frost date, you could use these, set it on top of the soil, and if you have it outdoors, you can kind of protect it there. You can remove it, water it, and then put it back fairly easily. Now, a lot of people don't know it, but Dollar Tree actually sells seeds of vegetables and plants. My wife found these wildflower blend seeds, and so I thought about what could I do to get them started without having to worry about birds attacking them before they have a chance to grow. So they had some really nice pots over there. Obviously they need drill, the holes need to be either knocked out with a pencil or a drill. And one thing you can do to protect it is you can take these shower caps, and I'm trying to think of the guy that I saw who did this. If I can think of it, I'll put a link in the description. But these are great. You can plant your wildflower seeds just at the top of your thing. Don't fill this up completely with soil. Leave it about 2 inches, and then put one of these shower caps on the top, and that will hold it in place to allow the seeds to germinate. Now you may need to punch a hole or two in this to allow water to get there if you're not manually watering every day, or if you're watering from beneath and you have something like a small container like this. The ones I just showed you for the other purpose, you can put about 2 inches of water in that, set it down in there, and that water will wick from the bottom, and it'll remain a lot of moisture inside the soil, and you can keep your shower cap on there until you see some nice sprouting, and then you can remove it and allow it to grow through the rest of the spring. Now, if you do a lot of gardening on your back porch and you have wooden rails on there, this is a great item to have. You'll take one of these simple tea pitchers, drill a hole in it. You're going to be hanging it on the rail about this angle right here. It may be a little bit more up and down, but just whichever side you want to hang it first and see which direction it's kind of hanging. If it's straight up and down, you may want to drill 2 holes in the bottom, fill it up with soil, and you can put a variety of things like herbs in it, even small miniature tomato plants, and have it lined up on the rail of your deck. If you have some metal edging on your porch or anything like that, you can do the same thing and allow it to cascade over. So something as simple as a tea pitcher can become a flower pot. You may want to put a little bit of gravel at the very base of it to just allow the drainage to really do well if it gets a lot of rain in that area. So just remember, anything can become a flower container, vegetable container, if you just do it the right way and make sure you monitor it, especially in the sun, because the soil will heat up. So you may have to transfer this to a little bit more shaded area, because the soil will not be protected through something that's solid colored like this. Now the next item I'm using is a jumbo size mesh laundry bag, and this is in the same vein of protecting your small plants from birds. If you have a lot of problems with birds or even insects, something like this can prevent your strawberries or blueberries, something that you want to protect, and it still allows a lot of sunlight to pass through, but provides them a lot of protection from those type of pests. So let's go out to the garden and I'll show you exactly how to make one of these laundry bags work. All right, so these mesh laundry bags, you can just gently place it over something like this strawberry tower I've created. And this one's a little bit tall, but if I'm just wanting to protect the strawberries at the top of the bag, I can put this over the top and just gently pull it down, and I'll have multi-layers of this bag protecting or being protected from any birds that might come in and try to have a feast on my strawberries. So these are quite large bags. I think they're 36 inches tall. This still isn't all the way down to the bottom, but it protects the area that I want to protect and keeps the strawberries protected from any birds that might decide to fly in and just munch on a few strawberries. So something as simple as a laundry bag. This is not going to last for years and years, but it will last for a few seasons, a couple of seasons, I would think. It's in pretty good shape, and if you store it properly, I think it will last for at least 2 years. So something as simple as a laundry basket can also be used from the Dollar Tree to help you organize your garden, and I'll show you real quick exactly how to use something like this. Now this hose would probably be in a lot better shape if I would have had it in a basket from the very beginning, but it's quite dirty because it's been sitting directly on the ground. But anyways, these laundry baskets, although they're not very expensive, and they're not going to last forever, but what I've discovered is I've had everything from manual reel hoses, hose containers, I've had automatic reel hose containers, and what I've discovered is no matter how expensive they are, they have a short lifespan. Usually something breaks because it's plastic, and it's not going to last forever. So nothing is going to be perfect for storing your hoses, but I just like doing it the cheapest way possible, keep it off the ground, and then that way I'll be able to reel it back up fairly easy and get access to it. Next time I'm going to wash it down with a little bit of soap and water, clean it up, and make it look a little bit nicer than it is. But this is a great way to store something for less than $2. So guys, some of these ideas may have already been repeated in other blogs and videos, but I've scoured literally hours and hours of the internet looking for what I thought was some of the better ideas to use at the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, or the cheap dollar store where you can get something to make your garden work a little bit more effectively. So I really appreciate you watching. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and have a great day.